Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Frank Andrews, Marisa Burke, meteorologist Noreen Clark, and J. Kristopher Sports. This is Newswatch 16, midday.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday. Today is the 5th of September, and the school bells rang in Scranton this morning for the first time this year. There are no teacher strikes, but there is a protest, this time by parents, upset by changes in some school bus routes. In fact, several parents walked about a mile to school this morning with their children just to give one elementary school principal a petition opposing the changes. Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke walked along with the parents, and she's standing by live now in Scranton to explain the protest. Marisa?
Well, Frank, you could say the first day of school in Scranton wasn't a happy one for everybody. Scranton school officials have made changes in the bus routes in the Scranton area school district, and it means that several of the children going to the Armstrong Elementary School will have to walk busy streets like this one. Now, I talked to several of the parents this morning who felt very angry and disgusted, but most of all frightened for their children.
I think we should have our busing. What do you say? Busing!
As the school buses rolled by, more than 30 parents and their kids marched in protest down North Main Avenue in Scranton. Because of new busing rules, these grade school children have to walk to Armstrong Elementary School since they don't live far enough away to be taken by bus. The parents are angry because now their kids have to walk more than a mile to school, and they fear for their children's safety walking on a busy North Main Avenue.
And I'm going to have to walk these children through the ice, through the snow, and God forbid, if anything should happen, who is going to take the responsibility for that?
You shouldn't be left walking because of the traffic. All the big trucks going by, right through the paths there.
Scranton school officials say they'll save money with fewer bus routes. Now, from where the kids and parents started their walk at the corner of Troop Street and North Main, it's over a mile-long walk, but not quite a mile and a half, the distance required for kids to be bused to school.
I wish we were going to be bused sometime. I don't feel like walking to school all the time.
Most of these parents say they'll refuse to let their children walk by themselves. They say the walk will interrupt their morning schedules, but at least they're assured their children get to school safely. Now, the parents tell me that they have a petition all ready to submit to the school board at their next meeting. The petition is supposed to have over 250 signatures on it. They hope the petition will prompt the school board into getting the kids off the streets again and back onto the buses. Marisa Burke, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in North Scranton.
Thank you very much, Marisa. Well, today was also the first day of school for students and teachers in the Jersey Shore School District, but labor problems are also in class today. Last night, the unionized teachers in that Lycoming County School District voted to reject a school board wage offer. But the teachers also agreed to work this week in hopes the district will offer a bigger pay raise in that contract proposal.
The association's position right now is somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 to $400 more than what the board is offering.
And what's the board offering?
The board is offering a $1,400 per the first year and $1,450 per the second and third year of the contract, with no additional fringe benefits for the package.
The Jersey Shore teachers say if they do not have a tentative agreement by Monday morning, they'll strike. No new talks are set up as of now. In the Panther Valley School District in Carbon County, talks are set up for tonight to try and avert a strike. Teachers in Panther Valley say if they don't have a contract offer by Friday, they may walk off the jobs. Talks are also set for next week for teachers in Wilkes-Barre. Those instructors are in class today working under terms of their old contract until a state mediator can get involved and hopefully work out the contract problems. And in the Pittston area school district, teachers there do have a new 3-year contract. It was okayed yesterday. School, by the way, started today for the Pittston area school district. Well, the reaction is mixed this midday to ABC's program last night on education in America. It was a special 3-hour documentary called To Save Our Schools, To Save Our Children. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci watched the program with some area teachers to get their reaction to the program that focused on what's called a crisis in American schools.
To save our schools, to save our children.
It began at 8 o'clock, and from the start, it pulled no punches.
We are approaching a crisis in one of America's oldest and most fundamental institutions, our public schools.
The documentary focused on the plight of schools, on the dropping SAT scores of students, and on the problems of teachers.
It's been a decaying profession in that
The income of teachers has declined against every other occupation in our society except house cleaning.
Local teachers invited here to watch the documentary found that it rang true.
The main reason I'm leaving teaching is because I'm so frustrated and so stressed under all these circumstances and under these conditions.
Is it really at times that bad?
Well, I think you have to understand, yes, it can be that bad if you really, and they made reference to it in the program tonight, if you really have a calling to be a teacher.
I think a lot of the problems stem from deeper social problems in our society.
There has to be a working relationship between the home and the school, and if that good relationship isn't there between the parent and the teacher, education isn't going to happen.
According to the ABC documentary, the only thing that can save education in this country is a decade-long commitment similar to the Apollo Moon program.
The costs will be enormous, but if our schools fail, we all fail.
Dan Fiorucci for Newswatch 16.
And next up on Newswatch 16 Midday, Gerry Gartenburg with some news you can use on cheaper airline fares, plus a picture-perfect landing for the Space Shuttle Discovery. The homecoming next as Newswatch 16 Midday continues.
Ritual sizzles on NEP.
Well, it was a 6-day, 56-minute, 4-second journey into outer space that NASA officials say was just about perfect. And just about 2.5 hours ago, the Space Shuttle Discovery landed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. If you missed it, here it is again. Now, despite the fact that the Discovery's mission was delayed 2 months by problems with the newest member of the shuttle fleet, NASA spokesmen say the work her crew did during this 6-day journey made up for the problems. All 6 astronauts are okay. They are undergoing medical testing in California right now after that space trip. Well, a trip on a DC-9 plane from any airport may be a bit different from a ride in the shuttle, but for lots of people it is the means of getting away from the hustle bustle of the day-to-day life for a vacation. Today, Action 16's Gerry Gartenburg is here with some advice on how you might be able to save some money on those airline tickets. Can't wait for this, Gerry.
Okay, Frank. Well, whether you're planning a late summer vacation or you're thinking of getting away from it all in the winter, I've got some travel advice for you today that might put more money in your pocket. Now, if you can do without the frills of first-class flying, you'll save a whole lot by booking your seat in coach. But when it comes to dollars and cents, folks, all coach seats are not created equally.
Called 10 different airlines and asked how much it would cost to fly coach from New York to Dallas next week. The airlines quoted me fares ranging from $250 to nearly $700. Piedmont Airlines told me they had some coach seats for $250, some for $358, and some for $648. That's right, a difference of almost $400. And American Airlines said it would cost me $498 to fly coach from New York to Dallas, until I asked if they had a cheaper coach seat. They did. It was about $200 cheaper. Airline representatives I spoke with say most of those lower-priced coach seats are restricted. That's the airline's way of telling you that if you want to save money, you may have to complete your trip by a certain date, or pay for your seat a week or more in advance. Well, you know what? It's a good idea to pay for your seat in advance anyway. That way, if the fare goes up, you won't be charged the higher price. And if your plans change, you can always get a refund, usually without paying a penalty.
Now, one of the best things you can do to save money on an airline ticket is to work with a reliable travel agent who will use his computer to search through all the fares for the best deal, and I mean all the fares, folks. And keep an eye on those newspaper ads, too, because sometimes the airlines announce special discounts, Frank, that even your travel agent may not be aware of.
Well, there's such a big difference in those rates. I guess it does pay to shop around just a little bit.
You really have to be a good consumer and shop around to get the best airline rates.
Thanks again for saving us some money, Gerry. Well, the cool weather forecast is coming up next as Newswatch 16 Midday continues. Meteorologist Paul Heppner is out in the backyard. He'll have all the details of the forecast when we come back.
Civilians in space.
Tonight at 7.
Welcome back, everyone, to Newswatch 16 Midday. The water is still out of service for 250 customers of the Moscow Water Company in Lackawanna County. Now, officials there say the problem started when the utility company tried to switch water mains to a new water source. People in Moscow have been without water since yesterday afternoon. Our phones have been ringing off the hook with people wondering when it's going to go back on. But now the Moscow Water Company has set up a tanker truck at the Moscow firehouse so that families can get drinking water. And keep this in mind, another tanker will also be driving through the residential parts of Moscow so that you can get water to flush the toilet. Crews are still working on the problem, and they tell me they hope to have the water back on in Moscow sometime later today. Now, can you imagine first day of school, all those teenage girls couldn't get a shower, wash their hair? What a disaster. At least it's not too hot out there, Paul. Hello.
Hi, no disaster out here right now, Frank. In fact, the sun has come back out, burned off the fog that we had earlier today. Doesn't feel too bad when you're out in that sunshine because it's still fairly high in the sky early in September. But once it goes behind one of those puffy clouds, it gets kind of chilly because we've got a cool air mass coming in here. In fact, let me show you our current readings right now. You can see that right now we stand at 59 degrees, kind of nippy for this time of the year. 73% on the relative humidity. Winds are from the northwest now. It's a cool wind direction. And the air quality index today was good in Scranton and moderate in Wilkes-Barre, but of course with the new air mass coming in, it should be good for both Scranton and Wilkes-Barre tomorrow. And indeed, a few of those puffy clouds blowing in the wind. Here's a view from space, seeing some more clouds that are blowing in the wind, especially the ones that are going offshore with the storm system. Still some lingering cloudiness back out over the mountains of Pennsylvania, but it's breaking up a little bit, allowing some sunshine to sneak in from time to time. Some very cool temperatures. I've been tracking this band of cloudiness that's been over the Midwest through the morning hours. It's now spreading into Ohio and beginning to affect eastern Ohio, spreading some rain showers through Dayton and Mansfield, Ohio. I'm a little bit concerned that this area will sneak across Pennsylvania tonight, and if that's the case, it'll put a little bit of a cloud cover, especially over the southern two-thirds of the state, and that might help keep the temperatures up a little bit. So it might not be a clear night tonight down over the southern tier of Pennsylvania. Very, very cold temperatures back up over Minnesota. 31 degrees, record low temperature at International Falls. Northwest flow means that type of air is coming in here. Okay, let's check out the current readings throughout the state of Pennsylvania right now. 59 degrees in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, about the same in Williamsport. 59 up in Elmira, and warmer down near Philadelphia where it's 68 degrees. Some mountain cloudiness back up through northern Pennsylvania means 51 in Bradford, and of course Phillipsburg kind of cool at 55 degrees. Now here's the way our current weather map looks. We've got the one band of clouds going offshore with the front that came through, giving us the cool air. Another weak little secondary front still producing some cloudiness back up over the mountains, but we have some breaks here in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. And here's the next batch of cloudiness now coming through Ohio, and if it keeps on the same course, it's going to be in here for tonight. But you can see we're kind of on the northern fringe. If it goes like that, we'll be kind of on the northern fringe of the clouds. So I'm basically looking at this cloudiness to slide across the southern two-thirds of the state. Okay, the forecast for this afternoon calls for a mixture of clouds and sunshine. There might be a very brief sprinkle from one of those clouds, but no big deal. High temperature about 63 in Harvey's Lake, downtown Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, coming in the mid-60s this afternoon, and that's about the same for Snydersville, a little bit warmer at 69 degrees. If you live out in the central counties, out in Jersey Shore, your high temperature this afternoon around 66 degrees. Tonight, very, very cool. In fact, cover up those plants, the sensitive ones, the tomatoes, for instance, because temperature 45 Lords Valley, 43 in Durrell. Most of the viewing area tonight will be in the low to mid-40s. Okay, coming up on the forecast board this afternoon, partly sunny skies, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, 66 degrees here in Avoca. Cool tonight, 46 degrees. And as I see it, cool weather continuing tomorrow, 64, beginning to warm up as we head into the weekend. So, Frank, definitely have to cover up those plants tonight.
Well, we sure wish we could have a couple of sunny, warm days for Noreen Clark's vacation.
It's not too bad where she's at.
At least what the meteorologist deserves. Thank you very much, Paul. Sports is up next on Newswatch 16 Midday. Today, Jay Kristopher looks at the latest round of tennis at the U.S. Open in New York and previews Penn State's season opener. It's coming up this weekend. The Nittany Lions profile next as Newswatch 16 Midday continues.
Watch what we do with this picture of a lemon to demonstrate the effectiveness of television. First, we add color, then sound and motion, and finally, emotion. Now, we don't want to sour you on other advertising media, but let's face it, television works. Call us and discover just how effectively television could work for you.
Welcome back, everyone. Seems like they've been playing at this U.S. Open tourney for 6 months.
It'll end this weekend, Frank. Good afternoon, everybody. It's down to the final 16 at Flushing Meadows, where quarterfinal play begins today in the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. 8 men and 8 women are all that's left in the prestigious event. The biggest surprise in the men's field is unseeded John Lloyd, the husband of Chris Evert. Lloyd shocked 9th-seeded Ulrik Sundstrom in 4 sets Wednesday to become the first player from Great Britain to make the quarters in 8 years. Lloyd will next play Jimmy Connors. Connors crushed Sweden's Joachim Nyström, surviving a very tough first set. The top seed, John McEnroe's match, was interrupted, but Big Mac prevailed. He whipped Robert Green 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. McEnroe will meet Gene Mayer in the quarters today. Meyers upset 13-seed Thomas Smith. The 4th seed, Mats Wilander, stopped Tim Mayotte in 3 sets and will play 19-year-old Pat Cash in the quarterfinals again beginning today. Now, because of rain yesterday, the 3 top women's seeds will see action today. The top seed, Martina Navratilova, will meet Helena Sukova. Number 2 seed, Chris Evert Lloyd, will play Sylvia Haneke. The 3rd seed, Hanna Mandlikova, takes on 14th-seeded Colleen Bassett, and Pam Shriver will face Wendy Turnbull. Then, in men's play, 2nd-seeded Yvonne Lendl is matched against the 5th seed, Andres Gomez of Ecuador, and 15th-seeded Pat Cash, the youngster from Australia, will meet 4th-seeded Mats Wilander. Well, from the tennis court, we take to the collegiate gridiron. The 1984 college football season begins in earnest for Penn State's Nittany Lions this coming Saturday when they host Rutgers at Beaver Stadium. Head coach Joe Paterno, a proven winner over the years, once again enters the season with guarded comments about his always potent teams. This year, he cites inexperience, and maybe he's right. Last year, it was just the opposite. The Lions had a lot of returning talent coming off the national championship in 1982, but in the kickoff classic at the Meadowlands in New Jersey against Nebraska, it fell apart. The 44-6 drubbing at the hands of the Cornhuskers is a game the Lions would like to forget forever. They would also like to forget the next 2 games against Cincinnati and Iowa, both losses. Penn State then rebounded, winning their next 5 against the likes of Temple, Rutgers, Alabama, Syracuse, and West Virginia. Then they met Boston College in Game 9 and dropped the 27-17 tilt to Doug Flutie and company. Since then, it's been a winning streak of 4. The last victory, 13-10 win over Washington in the Aloha Bowl. This year, look for an explosive offense with quarterback Doug Strang leading the way, and of course DJ Dozier, the big back for Paterno, who will play a key role in this year's schedule. Though Paterno's assessment about inexperience may be valid, when the Lions come out of the den this Saturday, they'll begin to roar early. The sound will be heard all season long. A crushing blow for the Seattle Seahawks of the NFL. Their premier running back, Kurt Warner, watch this, will be out for the balance of the season following knee surgery yesterday. Warner suffered ligament damage Monday when he caught his foot on the artificial turf, cutting upfield against the grain in Seattle's 33-0 win over the Cleveland Browns. There's a postscript to the Warner out for the season injury. Seattle's backup for Warner, Zach Dixon, also suffered a knee injury in Monday's game. His condition is very tentative. Now, that situation has opened the door and talks with former Pittsburgh Steelers running back Franco Harris, who was let go from the Steelers 3 weeks ago. Some reports say the Seahawks are really interested in Harris, and why not? He could help Seattle. Harris's agent agrees, saying you don't go from 1,000 yards a season to 0. 4 front-running baseball teams in the major leagues have been given permission to print playoff tickets. That's right. The Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, the Chicago Cubs, and the San Diego Padres all were cleared to print the postseason tickets as the schedule winds down. Of course, there's 3.5 weeks left in the season, and it ain't over until it's over. And that's midday sports.
Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Another great thing. That's interesting news about Franco Harris. Be interested to see what's happened.
As a follow-up.
Thank you very much. Scranton City Council meets tonight, and the main topic of discussion will be traffic congestion near the foot of the Morgan Highway. Every day at rush hour, when workers get out of the International Salt Company, Metropolitan Life Insurance, and other businesses that are up and down the Morgan Highway, this intersection that you see here becomes a tangled mess, with cars on Kaiser Avenue and the Morgan Highway meeting at the busy intersection. Now, City Council is expected to ask PennDOT to put in traffic lights to try and control the flow of traffic. If Council okays that plan, the lights at the foot of the Morgan Highway could be in place by the beginning of the new year. Heavy traffic on 1 Street in North Scranton is the reason for a protest by some parents there. In a moment, we'll have a live update on the problem and the protest. Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke will join us again in just one moment.
Everything you want to know about outdoor life Saturday.
Welcome back, everyone. Just recapping our top story this midday. It was back to school for the Scranton school districts, and many parents and children in North Scranton were a bit unhappy this morning. That's because the parents are sending their children off to the Armstrong Elementary School without the bus this year. The kids have to walk busy streets like this one, North Main Avenue in Scranton, and they have to walk more than a mile. It has to do with recent changes in bus routes made by the school board, and the parents and the children are pretty upset about it. And they hope that some of the changes will be made. They have petitioned the school board. They staged a protest march on their way to school this morning. And Frank, they hope that the school board will think twice about these changes in the new bus routes.
Thank you, Marisa. I guess there's one consolation. There's only a half day of school for those students in Scranton. They're out right now. They got out at about 11:30. So if you are out, enjoy the sunshine today. For the Midday Team, I'm Frank Andrews. Enjoy your afternoon.